it's not for everyone. You have to have a certain skill set and a certain mind to put your hand to it, because people think it's easy, and it's not. It's an intricate job. I don't believe you can learn everything at college on a rig, because it's not real life. It's about a £4 million project. I think it's over £100 million build for the client, which is amazing, and it's going really well. Don't be a one-trick pony just because you won't get anywhere. Men don't like talking in general, and that's the truth. Especially in the construction industry, I've known quite a lot of people that have committed suicide because they didn't want to talk. The statistics on mental health and suicide in our industry is massive.
Hi, hello, welcome back in the Spotlight Sessions. Here with us, Andy Marshall, Senior Contracts Manager for Roofing Division. Hello,
That's
Andy.
it. Hello, mate. You all right?
All right. Yeah, so, Andy, maybe you can just give us a little bit of insight about your progress within the
Sure.
construction.
I left school at 15. Weren't really keen on school, so got chucked into roofing. Mate's dad offered me some work, and learnt my trade there, really. Started on extensions, tiled roofs, and just worked my way through it. Went to a company, they called it grandfather right, so I haven't gone to college, didn't have to then, learnt roll and pour, and just gradually worked my way up.
So how long you've been working in the roofing industry?
25 years.
25 years. Did you see any differences before you started it and now?
Massively.
So what type of differences you can...
The innovation, the technology, and most importantly, the health and safety is completely different now. It was very lax back then. There wasn't any health and safety. You could walk up a ladder, walk onto a roof with no edge protection, carry finger on your shoulder up a ladder, and it's completely different now. So it's more safer for the worker, as opposed to it was the bosses that was controlling it before. Just get on with it, just do it. And it's more centred around protecting the employees, going home safe, working safely, which is important.
So 25 years in the roofing industry is a quite long time.
Yeah, long time.
And then what makes you to choose a roofing? You said the grandfather rights, you've been told.
So I like working outside, and it just interested me. I used to work weekends for my mate's dad, and then when I decided to leave school at that age, he was like, come and work for me. It was good pay back then even, and it's a trade, and it's a dying trade, unfortunately.
And how would you describe your daily duties or daily responsibilities as a starting in the roofing industry as a labourer, or maybe?
So as a labourer, you obviously get all the materials onto the roof for your boss, your foreman, and then make sure they've got everything ready there, so they're not waiting, so they can like cut all their bits up, so they can install all the materials are to hand, and then keep the site generally tidy.
So what is a career progression in roofing? You need to start from, let's say, from a apprentice and to the part roofer, or
So you start as a labourer, and then work your way up as an improver, and then to either a felter or to a fully roofing operative. You can go to college now and get MVQs, which I'd recommend to anyone. It's a good career to have, and it's an MVQ. I didn't get offered that back then because it wasn't available, but it's a good career progression. The roofing industry is massive.
Looking from the point of view now, being a manager and managing the project, what is your biggest proud moment and the biggest challenge on site?
My proudest moment in roofing to date is doing Edinburgh Waverley Station. I spent a year there, and we've done everything from the glass to the waterproofing, and it got nominated for some awards. It was quite a good, proud moment. Challenges on site is the operatives, keeping them safe, making them listen, regular toolbox talks, making sure they understand the RAMs, the method statement, the risk assessments, and just having a general presence on site.
How would you describe the communication channels and the floating of informations regarding typical projects, the dates on the project, and the...
I think it's really good. Once we get a project handed over to us, we will then do the pre-start meeting, submit the RAMs, and then engage with the labour, get them to site, show them the job, make sure they're happy with the access, egress, make sure they're happy with the job. We give them the price, they accept it, and then it starts from there. The materials get placed and ordered. We agree a start date with the client, and we go from there.
What is a typical skill set for the roofing gang or roofing division to operate on site?
We ask for embassy. We ask the main foreman ganger is a triple STS or SMSTS, and they have to have the skills card. And then if they're improvers, they have to have the improver card, and then labourers can have their labourers cards. But that's a minimum that we would require.
That's the minimum for the leading roofer
Yeah.
to lead. What is a typical gang of people in a roofing
It all
industry?
depends on job sizes, but variously, normally it's about 3 to 4 people. That's normally sufficient for a gang for a medium-sized job. Anything larger, like 1,000 meters plus, you'd have 5 or 6, maybe more.
How difficult it is to get into a roofing industry or to do the roofing and
It's not difficult. It's just finding people that want to do it and working outside in the cold, in the damp, in the heat. It's not for everyone. You have to have a certain skill set and a certain mind to put your hand to it, because it is people think it's easy and it's not. It's an intricate job. So yeah, you have to be willing to learn and adapt and take it all on board.
Andy, could you tell us what are the different types of roof currently we're installing in the embassy? Why we are leading in this area?
Yeah, cool. So we install everything from single ply to felt, liquid systems, to pitch roof. That's the flat roof inside. Then we go into the sheeting and cladding side of it. All specialist trades. We install lead, copper, and then we go into the slating and tiling side of it. So they're all multi-disciplines that we do, which is really good.
Fine. I want you to talk about a little bit about the training. How you can this one training will cover all of this type of roof.
No, so different training is for different types of roofing. So if you're a flat roof, we're blessed where we're a company that are multitasked in different disciplines, whereas some companies just stick to flat roofing or pitch roofing. So we've got different gangs that can do the skill set that we require, but they will have to go to the manufacturer's training and sit their required training. So it could be 2 days, it could be 5 days, it could be a day. And as long as they're competent, they'll get a manufacturer's skill card, which allows them to install that particular system. If they don't have it, the manufacturers won't allow it. And if they do find out, then the warranties are void. But every one of our gangs has that required skill card or set for that particular job.
So Andy, could you tell me anything about the environmental factors when it comes to roofing, and what's the best solution, the best practice currently out there, and how we can improve or goes into innovations kind of thing?
Yeah, of course. So roofing as a whole, from when it started, it was asbestos, it was oil-based bitumen felts, which wasn't good for the environment, but it wasn't thought of back then. So the technologies that the manufacturers have now developed is to start installing hybrid roofs, like your brown roofs and green roofs. So you put your waterproofing layer down, then you install the soil, and then install the seeds, which allows all walks of wildlife like bees, wasps, butterflies. They pollinate, they eat the seeds. It just helps the environment massively. It breathes oxygen in. As you know, there's a lot of pollution in the world at the moment. So doing these sort of roofs now, and they're becoming more and more common. Anywhere that there's a roof, it's normally specified. So environmentally, and it's a cost-saving exercise as well, because it's cheaper to install that and it lasts a lot longer than replace your roof. So the government are massively pushing it, and it's just an all-round good system.
So could you explain to us what is the difference between blue, brown, and the green roofs, just in the layman terms? So at least we know and we've got the insight. How does that look like, and how is that helping environment?
So with the brown roofing, once you've done your waterproofing layer, you install the soil, and then you plant the seeds, and then over time that will grow with water, with rain. With the green roofs, it already comes prepared. So it comes from Holland on a lorry. You have 72 hours to install it, and it's already living. So the wildlife can go to it straight away and pollinate off of it. So that's the difference.
Okay, what about the blue roofs, Andy?
So the blue roofs, they collect the rainwater, and it releases back into the environment. It's a safer, sustainable way, reduces the sewage and the contamination. And there's different aspects of the signing off procedures. So they're all installed differently. They're all waterproof the same, but they're installed differently. The brown roofs are seized, the green roofs are living and come prepared, and then the blue roofs are the water retention.
How you ensure the quality and on the finished work, and how has that been deemed to be a done to a standards?
The contracts manager in charge of the project will go out and inspect on a regular interval and create reports, photographs, and then the manufacturer will come out once or twice a month and do an inspection report and sign it off, which then gets presented to the client.
All right, so it has been done by the
Yeah.
manufacturers.
So we always
just-
engage with the manufacturer. We do our own as well, and that way the client's kept up to speed at every stage of the project. So once the first layer's gone down, we do a report, some photographs, get the manufacturer out. He's happy, he signs it off, or they sign it off, and we create a report. And it backs up the warranty process as well. So when they start issuing the warranty, they have a load of reports from the project, and it's stage by stage, and they go, "This is your warranty now."
Gotcha. Very important element of obviously of your work is your client relationships, obviously, and relationships with your workforce. How has that been achieved in your position, and how you maintain that you always try to give the client exactly what he wants, and then inform him about his obligations in terms of safety, in terms of any other work.
So it's communication. So again, we regularly meet with the clients. The contracts managers are on site 2 or 3 times a week, meeting with the clients, meeting with the operatives, making sure everyone's happy. We've got apps where we can do reports and show the clients what we're doing, because they're not always available to be on the roof. So we're their eyes and ears. We've got a really good relationship with a lot of our clients and our operatives. It's about communication, putting an arm around them, making sure they're all right. Is there anything else they need? And just developing that stronger bond with them.
Andy, how you can describe or tell me the process of ensuring that your workforce is always up to date with the current legislations, with the current products, with the suppliers, materials and equipment?
So Embassy have set up their own training academy for operatives, and we also engage with the manufacturers as well. So we do a training day where we get the operatives in, we train them in-house, and then the manufacturers will come in and upskill them on what they've already learned and what they know. So it's a really beneficial thing for them, and it's beneficial for us because we know that we're happy with the skill set that we've now given them. They can go off to site and install the product as well, and that's the relationship that we want moving forward with all our operatives and manufacturers, and the manufacturers are buying into it as well.
What is a length of the training that's for someone who's starting as an apprentice roofer to become a fully qualified roofing with systems roofs or of any relevant suppliers training, product training?
That's a good one. Officially, it's 3 to 5 years, but you're learning every day. I'm still learning stuff now, and I've been in it 25 years. They're always bringing something new out. But if you're an apprentice, you go to college 4 weeks, and then you have 4 weeks on-site training, which I think is brilliant. I don't believe you can learn everything at college on a rig, because it's not real life. And the colleges used to do that, but they've now realised that that's not real life. And you need to go onto a roof and come up against something that you wouldn't on a rig. So it's 3 to 5 years apprenticeship, but you continue learning throughout your whole career, which is good. And the lads are receptive to it. They want to learn all the trades. It's good to know everything and learn everything, as opposed to try and just hone in on one thing. So it's a really good thing to learn.
And when you start your roofing career, have you was aware of any progress paths that you can take into it, and then how has that changed since you started and now?
When I first started, the progression wasn't really there. That I was made aware of it was felting or slating and tiling. And I started as a roll and pour felter, and then liquid come onto them. It was always there, but it wasn't really thought of. And then the technology developed massively, and I got offered to do something with liquid wise, and jumped at it actually because it interested me. And I've done a lot of station roofs for Network Rail. I've done Harrods, and a lot of Marks and Spencer. So some really niche clientele that have all bought into it because it's cold applied. And the fascination with that was the hot works is eliminated from that straight away. So a lot of companies and architects and builders and councils bought into that because they didn't want the flame. It was hard. The older generation didn't want to know. but I was a bit younger, so I was willing to adapt my skill set. And I'd implore anyone to do it, because don't be a one-trick pony just because you won't get anywhere. If you can do a number of skill sets in the roofing industry, you'll get a lot of work, and it's good for you. It's good for your learning abilities, and any guys that you get with you, it's good to learn all disciplines. You're not going to be the master at all of them, but you can adapt and learn that skill set. And to a client, to an employer, you're invaluable.
So how long you've been on tools, Andy?
18 years.
18 years. And then after the 18 years, you decided to go into the office, or there
Yes,
was...
yeah. So I worked for a company, and then my mate who got me as a subby on there was leaving, and they offered me the contracts manager's job there, so I took it.
Yeah, did you fit in straight away, or do you need any additional training? Do you need any specialist training to do the being the roofer? It's going into as a contract manager.
It was harder because roofers and scaffolders, you know what they're like on sites. They're look at me, so I had to learn the way to talk to people in a professional manner, not in a roofing manner. I know that sounds silly, but it's true. So I had to learn that sort of side of it, which was a little bit hard at first. I'm not going to lie, because you're not on the roof with your mates, effing and jeffing and being a lad. You're sitting in front of high-end clients that need answers to their roofs, and I know what I'm talking about, but not in that corporate element. So yeah, I had to learn a lot of that. Computer skills, I was always all right, but again, I had to learn certain things, and you have to learn how to do applications, invoicing, raise orders. That I used to pick up a phone and go, I need this, and it was done. So yeah, there was a development in that aspect with it, but I enjoyed it. I thrived off of it. 'Cause it was another feather to my bow. So, and the good thing is when I went back on site, I can see both sides of the story. I can understand where the lads are coming from, but I'm also got my corporate head on, and I can understand where they're coming from. So it was a good person to be in the middle. It was a good, do you know what I mean? It was nice to liaise between the client, the guys, and the company, and go, well, I can see their point of view, but so any contracts manager that wants to get out of coming off the tools, any roofer that wants to come off the tools should go into contracts management, because they've got the knowledge, they've got the skill set, they know what they're talking about. I've seen a lot of companies out there that employ contracts managers, not roofers, and in my opinion, it doesn't work, and it can't work because they're not specialised in that industry. They don't. You're going to have to train them a lot harder to get them up to speed. So yeah.
Okay, so training is quite important, and the mental health element is quite important as well. How are you ensuring that your workforce is always looked after?
So we check on them regularly. We take them for coffees, regular chats, toolbox talks, and put an arm around them. Everyone knows the construction industry, mental health and suicide in the construction industry is shocking. I've done courses online to upskill myself in mental health and mental awareness. Men don't like talking in general, and that's the truth. Especially in the construction industry, I've known quite a lot of people that have committed suicide because they didn't want to talk. So we go to site. If the lads look down or why we have a chat with them, just pull them away from their mates because they don't want to talk, and put an arm around them and be there for them. They can talk to us at any time, and I think that's important. I think that's important in any industry, but especially our industry.
So what does your typical day look like?
Yeah, of course. I'll leave out my lunch, but so yeah, we go to site 4 times a week. First thing in the morning, check on the lads, make sure they're constantly on the phone to us as well. So if they need materials, we bring it through to the office. Go to site, walk the site with the client first and foremost, then walk the site with the lads. Any issues or any things that have been brought up, we rectify and deal with there and then. Lots of photographs, and then we create our reports, send them back to the office. Wednesdays, or one of the days, is normally an office day where we go into the office, we sign off invoices, we get all our orders done or check on the orders, chase the orders. We're doing it constantly anyway on the phone, but it's nice to have an office day to catch up on everything because you're on the road consistently. And it's just going to all the sites really and just checking on the lads. Sometimes take them for a cup of tea, have a chat. It ain't just about work. Sometimes it's about checking on them, making sure they're all right. Even the clients, checking on the clients. You guys are right, you fancy a cup of tea? Take them out of their environment and relax them and go, right, what are the issues? So I find that works a lot. And sometimes we work one day at the site, which I find beneficial because the client will ring you and say, I need this, or the lads, and because you're on the road and you're going to 5, 6 different jobs, you naturally forget. So if you can put yourself there one day or half a day a week, it massively helps and the clients seem to like it. When I've done that, their faces sort of light up. They're like, oh, you're here. And they're not ringing you and sending you emails because they can be misconstrued. So it is beneficial to do that.
So could you tell us and give us again a little bit of insight of a project you're working on? What type of project are? What the challenges are on this project? And then how you overcome them?
Yeah, of course. So we're doing quite a few projects at the moment. I'm doing Silverstone race course, race circuit, which is quite a prestigious thing to do. They're building a load of escapade bungalows on the track for the race teams and private investors. So that's quite challenging because there's a time restraint on it, and it's hurry, hurry, hurry. But we're dealing with it. We're in a good place with the client. They're really happy. We're on program. We're on budget. We're on time. Couple of ones in London. They're really good. Again, it's always about programs with them. Space is a massive issue there because it's London, getting articulated lorries in and deliveries, and you have to coordinate it properly. You have to speak to the manufacturer and say, don't send this lorry, send this one with a HIAB or a Moffat. They sometimes don't listen. And the cranes, that can sometimes be challenging because we're not the only trade. Even though we think we are, we're not. And there's 50 other trades that want the crane. We sort of have a little bargain and say, look, it's the most integral part of your building, so if you want it watertight, give us which they do. And it is challenging. London's challenging in itself. Yesterday, for example, we couldn't get any deliveries in because the King's Speech and they shut all the roads. It doesn't help, but you deal with it. You let the clients know, you let the lads know, and you work out a plan and go, well, we'll do it this way. So we've been doing that, and yeah, it's good.
You mentioned a Silverstone project. Tell us a little bit more about this project. Are you doing the same type of roofs on there, or is it a different roof products you're supplying?
Yeah, so on this particular project, the architect and the client has specified single ply, which we spoke about earlier, and on the balconies is composite decking panels, and then on top of the single ply roofs, we're going to install the brown roof. I told you earlier, it's the brown roof where you spread the seeds in and then over time it grows. It's what the client wanted. It's what the British Racing Club wanted because they owned the site, and they want to breathe environmentally friendly because it's a racing circuit. So it's a good thing for them to do. So yeah, it's a really prestigious project for us. It's about a £4 million project. I think it's over £100 million build for the client, which is amazing, and it's going really well.
And how far are you in this project now?
We're about 3/4 of the way through it. We've got about 6 months left on site, and it'll be good to see that the British Grand Prix next year it'll be finished, and it'll be nice to see it in all its glory. And we'll put the drone up to have a look, get some nice case studies on that one because it'll be amazing to get that shot. Yeah, it's amazing. So we've got one team there, one gang of single ply installers. We're on program. In fact, we're in front of the program. We're chasing the client to get them up quicker, which is brilliant for us. We're on budget, which is nice, and it's going really well. It's going really well. The guys are installing to a high standard. The inspection reports have been fantastic. The client's really happy, and we've had 0 accidents, which is nice. The health and safety officer will be pleased with that. So yeah, it's a proud project for me to be part of.
In here in Embassy, we've got the scaffolding and roofing division. How would you describe the cooperation between two?
It's brilliant. Another example, Silverstone again. We're working together, and it's going hand in hand really. So we're telling them what we need. We site visit together, survey together, and they create the safe access and egress for us. So it's working really well. I think it's beneficial for all parties to have a roofing division and scaffold division.
You have mentioned something about the surveys. What do you normally do in the surveys? What is it contained in your type of work when you're doing the survey?
So we create our own templates with the surveys, and it's photographs, tick box exercises, and it's mainly for the contracts managers to be up to date with their health and safety, making sure their site is safe first and foremost, and it gets sent to the HSE team, the senior contracts managers, and the directors, and it just keeps everyone safe. It's a great tool to have. The clients are liking it because we can send it to them as well. And if there's any issues, it's time stamped and dated, so we can show, look, this is what's happened, and it's just protecting us as a business.
So basically, this is your quick and rapid risk assessment, managing
Yeah,
risk on sites,
yeah.
and
Basically, that it's managing the risk on site on a day-to-day basis. So the RAMs are in place anyway prior to the project starting, but it's a live document, as you know. So this is just a live daily document or weekly document that we can adapt. The beauty of it is you can adapt it to how you want. So if you see something on site that you haven't got in there, you can add it in, which is great.
so if you have any changes as you mentioned in your safe system of work, which is a RAMS, which stands for risk assessment and method statement, how this has been communicated in your workforce, how you communicate those changes.
So if there's any changes, as I said, it's a live document, so we would change and update the RAMs, redate it, reissue it with a revised date, then get the guys to re-sign onto it. If there's any new starters on site, again, we basically do an induction. I would go out and do an induction, or the relevant contracts manager would go and do an induction, and then all the lads would re-sign. If they've been off site for a period of time because we've caught up, and the site has changed, like there's no mud, there's a driveway or concreting's been done, we would then again revise the RAMs and reissue them to the client as well. It keeps us relevant and it keeps us safe and showing the client and the operatives that we're on top of it. It is a live document, as I said, so it's important that you update and review a lot.
You've been in the construction industry for such a long time. You said that you've got about 25 years experience. Um, there was a lot of organizations and the clients talking about the mental health and mental health being. How did you see that one being fit in the roofing and scaffolding industry? Most of the organizations promoting health and safety and the mental health being with their organizations, but that there is a big area for improvement. So, how did you see that?
100%. When I first started, mental health wasn't spoke of. It wasn't a thing, and it because people didn't talk. It was a male-dominated environment. Don't be so silly. Get on with it. But it's not promoted greatly. It could do better. By I think each corporation company should have their own in-house one and deal with their own guys, and then on a broader scale extend it out. It's about talking. It's massively about talking, but not just the contracts manager and the operatives. The senior management, the directors need to get involved, go to site, check on the lads, because ultimately that's who they're working for. And I think that's important for the lads to see that happening, not just in our company, in any business, because the guy at the top, he's the guy at the top. He needs to know that he cares for everyone, and so do the operatives and the workforce. So I think that's what should happen moving forward. The higher management get more involved with the mental health training days. I think that's massively important to introduce into our industry, into roofing, scaffolding, construction in general, because it's talked about, and we can all talk about it like we are now, but it's actually implementing that and making it happen. Not everyone goes and talks to the lads. Not everyone checks on them. They say they might, but they get waylaid. They get distracted. It's a fast-paced environment. It's a busy industry. But you need to make that time, cut yourself off from reality. And if you see someone struggling, sit down and talk to them. Are you okay? Put an arm around them. You all right? Do you fancy a bit of breakfast? Do you just fancy a coffee? Just fancy a chat?
What the organizations how they can improve at this? Because as I said, we talk about a lot. We tend to put the subject right as a priority for the businesses to manage, to ensuring the workforce is looked after, and they've got a mental health in the right level, so mental as well as a physical health in a good order. But it's not much being done. Mainly is a lip service. So
It's just a
what
number and an app, and I don't think that's nothing. You want to physically talk to someone and see someone. So I think on the bigger construction sites, like when you work on council work, you've got a resident liaison officer. I feel like on the big, massive construction sites, you should have a mental health officer on site.
there is a requirement. So some of the companies already have got the mental health first aiders on site. But looking through the statistics, I haven't seen any changes.
I
There was
haven't.
no big
No.
change or any improvement being made within the industry to get this a little bit better.
I think it should become part of a legislation because it's massively important, and the statistics on mental health and suicide is in our industry is massive. So let's make it you have to, if you take a project on, you have to have this mental health advisor on site. Not always, it's optional. You have to have it because it's massively important on any site. Not, it doesn't have to be a big site, it could be any site, because you don't know someone else's demons, what they're going through, and they might want to talk, but they don't want to talk to a phone number or the other end of a phone. It's not personal. It's not, you're not going to get the gist of what they're feeling towards you. So I feel like you should physically talk to someone face to face, but it's completely confidential and private. I think that's massively important.
And what's your predictions for roofing in the future?
See more people, young lads and young people trained. The industry needs male and female roofers. I think the roofing industry and construction industry needs to see a massive influx of females, to be honest, because it has been a massively sexist industry. And I would implore any employer to employ women. Why not?
How we can attract those?
Things like the podcast, explaining roofing. Just because you're a woman doesn't mean that you can't do the job. If you're right for that job, you're right for that job. It doesn't matter on sex, race, or creed. You're right for that job, and that's massively important. I think the government should also bring in to remove all asbestos within the next 20 years, because it can be done when they want to do it. I don't see why we should live in buildings with asbestos in anymore. It can be removed safely. It will cause disruption, but it can be done, and the government should be supporting anyone to do that. It's a bad substance to have, and that is one of my main things for the future of roofing. The technology's evolving all the time. They're bringing out new things, and it will continue to evolve. Roofing's the biggest industry out there. I think it's the most integral part of any building, and it's booming now, even though the economy's not right. COVID, it was booming. Recessions, it's booming, because you have to. If your roof leaks, you have to get it fixed. It's simple as that. But there's a few things that, the construction and roofing industry, scaffolding industry, I've never seen a female scaffolder, so it'd be nice to see that. So yeah, there should be a big recruitment push on that.
Yeah, there is some few female scaffolders currently working in the UK and in the scaffolding industry. But again, if you've got just one sentence to say to attract everyone who would like to get into a construction, roofing, scaffolding, what will be your selling point to it?
It's fun, it's outdoor work, and you're learning something new, and every day's different. You'll do one job and then the next job will be different, and it's rewarding. Every time I go to Scotland and I see Waverley Station, I've done Victoria Station, it puts a smile on my face, because I'm like, I've done that. I tell everyone I've done it as well, but it's a rewarding job. We done the hotel at King's Cross and St Pancras when I was on the tours, all the slate work. And again, I took my little girl up to London the other day, and she went, "Oh, Daddy, look at that pretty building." I went, "I've done that roof," and she was like, "Wow!" And her saying that made me smile. So it is a rewarding job. It's tough. It is tough, and working in conditions like today, it's not nice, but it swings and roundabouts. And it's a great industry. You meet some fantastic people, and every day's different.
Yeah, could you tell me your typical day on the surveying sites, please?
So typically we used to put a scaffold up to survey a roof, to look at a roof if there was any defects or issues on it. But I've now introduced drones because it's innovative, and we can survey a roof without the need for working at height. It's cheaper for the client initially. We can take off in a 6-foot circle, go up, survey that roof safely, first and foremost, and it gives you a detailed report. The camera quality on the drones are amazing. You can zoom in. It's fantastic. You can actually measure roofs now with the technology they've got. So it takes the need for working at height away initially, and everyone's buying into it. And us as a scaffold roofing company, it's massively beneficial. And we also do a lot of case studies to get that overshot of the roof finish when it's done, when the scaffold's up, if we've got a nice scaffold project. It's a really good way of surveying roofs, and not just roofs, facades, scaffolds going up. You can see ties that are maybe not tied in correctly. So it can pick up a lot. And like I say, the camera quality is 4K, and it's amazing. It really is.
What would you say about the AI coming into a play in the roofing? That's going to be beneficial, or?
I think so, because everyone doubted drones at one point. Everyone doubted the liquid plastics and the liquid roofing at one point, and it's worked. So no one likes anything new. Typically, like everyone's all not sure, but once you get into it, I think it will work. Why not? Why can't it work? It should work. It will work, as long as it's done correctly and in the right manner.
There was loads of apprenticeships, I assume. We, as a embassy roofing division, we're doing some apprentice for roofing
Yeah, so we're getting
operatives.
some apprentices on board, and we're working with some manufacturers. So they will take the apprentices on, and we will put them through their training schemes. Um, Langley, Bowder, they're all the major manufacturers. Axe, they're all doing it now. So, and it's a good thing to learn. It's trying to entice the younger generation to get off their phones, get off their YouTube and TikTok accounts, and come and do a job like that's rewarding and satisfying in all manners.
Thank you very much. So you all heard in your own ears. Don't waste your time. Come on and join us in construction industry, scaffolding, roofing, wherever you want to be, you can be. Word is yours. Doors are open. If you need to get any help with it, come and see us. We're here for you. Thank you very much.